Shannon White? What up, Steeler fans? It's Matty P here. I am with my buddy Shannon White. It is the Steelers Global Perspective. We're talking all different things on the content you're going to see over this weekend. But let's crack into it first. Shannon White, how are you doing, my good friend?
I'm doing wonderful. It's Friday here, and looking forward to a really nice weekend. And I was looking forward to talking some Steelers with you all day.
Awesome. Yeah, we're a little bit day behind. That's my fault. But look, I think the first thing was really interesting that we come off the back of. Obviously, it's your Friday afternoon. You've had 24 hours. I went to bed. I don't like going to bed angry, Shannon. I went to bed angry, right? And I went. You know what? I went to bed angry. We're going to talk about it, about the whole NFL, what I'm calling the dishonors in TJ Watt. There's no statistical area where Myles Garrett is better than TJ Watt. They're equal on one statistical area. There's a show on the channel about it. I'll link that in there for everyone out there. It's NFL dishonest to me. But you know what? I'm also super frustrated, super angry, because this should have been the Steelers' night of nights with Cam Heyward winning Walter Payton Man. This should have been the Steelers' night of nights. Instead, we're left with a bitter taste and sour taste that doesn't take away from Cam winning Walter Payton Man of the Year, but it's just not the good high we could have feeling. And then you watch the Browns win 3 different awards that are dubious all in themselves. I mean, as Marky D says on his channel, it's just there's clearly a script from the NFL, and we're all just playing along to the script. But, I mean, how do you feel about this? Because I don't know anymore. Like, what's the point in counting stats? I don't mean anything.
Well, I've been involved in a lot of Twitter discussions today about this, so everybody knows how frustrated I was expecting it, because even when Garrett would have a game where he didn't even register a statistic, they would talk about how great he did. One game he had no statistics, and they give him a 92 something pass rush grade, and I was just like, oh my gosh. I mean, that's what it's come to. I've been calling him this for a few weeks now. But to me, he's the king of the, hey, guys, did you see what I almost did there? I almost did something. You know, it'd be like my favorite, our local basketball team. We have a guy who, you know, he goes in and shoots all these acrobatic layups. I mean, he's flying through there. It looks really great. And everybody goes, ooh. And then he misses. And everybody goes, oh. You know, because it was a great attempt, but you didn't accomplish anything because you missed the shot. Well, according to PFF, he's the best player in the world. Because Myles Garrett, they grade him on pass rush win rate, which is in the first few steps. They say he wins all these pass rushes, but he has no statistics to back it up. And so TJ Watt had him in every conceivable statistic. And that is actual game-changing plays. They're rewarding him from winning against a guy like Dan Moore in the first 2-3 steps. But if you don't complete the tackle, make a tackle for a loss, at least contact the quarterback, you didn't accomplish anything.
Well, but the thing that I did the show that I did earlier on the channel a couple of days ago, been planning for a while. I compared him, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, Josh Allen, Danielle Hunter, Khalil Mack, and Micah Parsons against each other. Khalil Mack had a fantastic year. I actually, when I'm going through it, go, can Khalil Mack sneak something here? I mean, the Chargers obviously had a rough season, and that obviously plays into things. But there's just not one statistical thing. And I mean, pass rush win rate, when you're being held the amount of times, like what we should start, if they're going to start counting that, there should be numbers, it should be weighted against the amount of times you're held. Because every time you're held, that could have been a productive play. So I don't get it. Like, you know, pass rush win rate doesn't set someone back 3rd and 24, or doesn't set someone back on send them from 3rd down to 4th down. It doesn't do that. And like, based on those statistics, there are plenty of players that get like 4 sacks a year that could be in the mix for NFL Defensive Player of the Year. Like, it makes no sense.
What's the Steelers' record without Watt now? 1-12?
Yeah, so 91 and a bit percent or something like that.
He's easily the most valuable player. He's the best defensive player in football. But I'll say this. They was like, well, you don't see the influence that Miles Garrett has. I said, okay, if you want to just say the influence, from him winning in the first 2 or 3 steps, Max Crosby should have got it. Max Crosby is a demon. That guy 100 and some % every play, and teams are scared to death of him. Now
and he showed up there as well. There are a lot of stats where he actually quite shows up across the board. Yeah,
but he wasn't even in the top 5 in the voting, and that's not right because he makes more of an impact than Garrett does. Yeah. So the best player is obviously Watt. TJ had an incredible season. He can do it all. He has no weakness. I just hate it for his legacy because we know when you start talking about Hall of Fame guys, and he is, and they all come down to, well, he only won one of this or one MVP or he, so everybody wants to use that as that baseline. But TJ Watt could have easily won 2 more, but Aaron Donald had established himself. And in those days, again, Aaron Donald would get the nod. Well, finally, T.J. Watt had to break the all-time sack record, tied, to actually win one. Yeah. Well, this year, he had maybe a better all-around season.
I agree.
And he got screwed over by a guy who gets close sometimes. So, there's a blatant prejudice against the Steelers.
Yep.
And there's a fondness for some reason for the Browns and the Ravens. But it's the Browns. I mean, Dan Campbell's not coach of the year.
I mean, even D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah. Now I could go with Swartz as the defensive or the assistant because he did put together a very good defense there. But that just goes to show you Garrett had a lot more help. And so did the Ravens. So they had a much more complete defense with actual cornerbacks than what Watt had to work with. When you look at the Steelers defense, there's one superstar because Fitzpatrick did not have a superstar year and he missed a lot of games. Yep. And Heyward is no longer a superstar and Highsmith hasn't got there. So, I mean, Watt did it without all the help that the other guys had.
I will say one thing as well that negates this pass rush win rate. If Myles Garrett is so good at beating the pass rush, I don't understand why he only has 3 pass defenses and TJ Watt or pass break. I hate pass breakups. I like pass defenses.
Yeah.
Pro Football Reference. TJ Watt has 8. So if you're breaking up, if you are getting past, like you're breaking the you're having this pass rush win rate. Even if you're not getting another quarterback, you should be near or affecting the ball. He does it less than half the time that TJ Watt does.
Exactly.
Statistically.
Exactly.
Right? So to me,
with great height, great length,
he's closer to the line.
An incredible vertical.
And exactly my point. He's athletically, he's a machine, right? Yeah. So anyway, let's move on to the one positive about the NFL dishonors this year. And at least they didn't dishonor Cam for another year. I'm also kind of in shock that Cam won it. Like, he's been up there so many times. Yeah. And I thought it would be a bit more like a Whitworth scenario where, like, Steelers have to be in, like, an AFC championship game or in a Super Bowl for Cam Heyward to actually win it. I never expected him to actually win it in his career, right? I didn't think they were going to do that. So I know you love Cam. I know we've talked a lot about Cam. To me, it meant everything. Actually, his speech was terrific. It made me feel a little bit guilty in some of the questioning I've had of some of his vocal leadership at times this year. But I guess you've followed him a long time. You know how he sits in the if we had not the Mount Rushmore, but the mantle of Steeler legends. So how did it feel for you? Because I know that this is the stuff that you're big on character with people, and Cam Heyward to me has a lot of character.
To me, when you start talking about an all-time great Steeler or a guy who will be a great fit for the Steelers, you got to talk about class, and you got to talk about character, and you got to have charisma. Because you saw all that in his speech last night. He was very controlled. He was measured. he had thought about it, what he wanted to say. He had 6 years to think about it. And, but you have to be so proud of him. I know that his dad would be so proud of him because he took his legacy, because Arnhead had a legacy of caring and helping the community. And Cam, I think, is just built onto that. And a lot of the things that I've watched Ben Roethlisberger do in the past, and Najee Harris and these guys have built off of or was involved with Cam Heyward and his organization. So, you know, right now we're in a situation with Cam and his salary, but there's no doubt what he means to the Steelers legacy, what he means to the locker room, and what he means to the community. And I want him to come to a feasible agreement that's good for both parties. But huge fan. When you talk about your top four, I mean, I love the steel curtain, but you know, he could play on that curtain. I mean, he could have played right there. You know, LC was special, and obviously, me, Joe, in my opinion, is the best defensive tackle ever.
Agreed.
But you've got Holmes and you got White, and you could substitute Heyward for either one of them. And with what he's accomplished, and again off the field, the man's a legend, and he's just the kind of guy that you want representing your franchise.
That's it. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up this quick episode of Steelers Global Perspective, but we've got more coming at you all through the weekend.